Well, hi, welcome to my shop. Here's the next project we're going to work on. My $20 big honkin' radio. Okay, so I don't know anything really about this other than what you see. So, has all its knobs. That's great. Unfortunately, there's a clear pane of glass missing here. But otherwise, I think it's in great shape. It's just a little dirty. And just a little bit of work will make this thing turn into a real beauty, I'm pretty sure. So, let's get started on it. Okay, so I managed to get the radio up onto a turntable so we can spin it around quite easily and really get a good look at it. But first we're going to examine it on the outside and see what I really got here for 20 bucks. So, let's take a look at the general cabinet. You know, it's really, really nice. Like, there's just nothing wrong with this whole side. It's taken some knocks along the edge here, but this is easy to make it disappear so you can't see it. So what I'm really looking for are cracks, gouges, you know, stuff that has really, really kind of wrecked this radio. I don't think there is any such stuff at a glance. Anyway, it's very interesting shapes in here. Look how complicated this actually is. It's really, really cool. Nice curves. So this radio, like a lot of radios, has edges that have been painted. So here's a bored edge right here. And what they've done is they've painted it black. And what I've noticed in an awful lot of these radios is when you look at them, they look a little bit beat up. Usually what you're really seeing is just this paint trim is beat up. Yeah, there's a few knocks here and there where the wood's been treated differently, but where it's painted, you tend to really get a lot of eyesores, and it's easy to correct this with a little bit of paint. And these knocks, see them all down here? That'll all disappear. Yeah, there's other problems, but I've sort of found, especially in the kickboard, way down at the bottom here, the kick area here. Again, this is all painted and it's all scuffed up. Easy to fix. So another thing, these radios look terrible because they're dirty. You know, the dust on this? So that's going to come right off, of course, and it's going to look fantastic when it's done. It's going to be beautiful wood under there. This is why you can buy a radio like this for 20 bucks. The other reason you can buy a radio like this for 20 bucks is nobody wants these in their homes. They're too big. It's gigantic. Look at this thing. This is, that's got to be almost a meter across. Big honking thing. I guess if you're going to pay big money, you need a big radio to get the big money. Let's go around here. Again, beautiful down here. Just very simple activities will just bring this back. It's going to look beautiful. There's no serious damage here. Let's take a look at right at the front panel area now where lots of stuff can happen. Finger marks rubbing off the words. Yeah, see, it's rubbed off here from a lot of action. Oh, it's just covered in dust. So unfortunately, the push buttons, he's only got one plate left. CBY. Oop. Suspiciously easy to push. So the pointer's not moving. Yeah, something funny going on with these buttons. Westinghouse. Sometimes on a piece of trim like this, you get a knock. Again, anything that's elevated or raised off the flat surface is liable to get hit by, you know, when you drop the vacuum cleaner or that kind of thing. So you can see these knocks here, and you have a choice of just trying to darken these down so they turn the same color as the wood to make them disappear from view. Or you could actually paint this. You could just paint this whole piece if you really wanted to. But I wouldn't do that with this radio. These little marks can be taken care of. Even magic marker can help out with some of this stuff. It's great. It's great. It's great. My $20 is even better all the time. Pointer moves. So this is just, again, because the front glass plate is missing, the back plate is just covered with dust. And on this plate, wow, this is a beauty. It's got these black bars across it here. It's got paint on the front. It's got paint on the back to give all those. It's really hard to see because of the dust. But when this is cleaned up, it's going to be stunning. And getting a piece of glass to go in the front here, how hard a deal can that be? Just a trip to the hardware store, isn't it? I don't think it's curved or anything. I hope it's not curved. There's a slight curve here, but I think you can put a. Yeah, I won't say anymore. Maybe it's looking for an ever so slightly curved piece of glass. Curved piece of glass. I just kind of doubt it. If they would do that, that would introduce quite an expense. I don't think this is curved, is it? No, this can't. This got a flat piece of glass here. So the bezel, plastic bezel here, appears to be complete. It's not cracked anywhere. Beautiful. That's great. That's fantastic. Okay, now time to look in the back. Oh boy, what did I get? So the person I bought this from, oh, let's look at the top of the cabinet for a second here. The inevitable, somebody put a glass on top of here and the condensation, they did this. This is actually quite bad damage here. This would be hard to make this look much better. But you know, you can't expect these things to look like new, and if they look absolutely like new, it's kind of suspicious, isn't it? Kind of suspicious at that point. There it is. What a beast. What a beast. Do not remove speaker plug with power cord with power turned on. So no back plate. Some information here. Very interesting. So there's a light. There's a light right here. I don't know if you can see this. Right there, yeah. And it's shining through a little window way down at the bottom here. That's a little odd. Why is it down so low? And the window says, I believe it says, phonograph. Phono. Yeah, phonograph. So that lights up, I guess, when you hit the phonograph switch, which is probably one of these buttons, or is it this? Phono. So that would turn phono on. It should turn a light on. Now the bulb is missing up here. That's kind of neat. Never seen a radio with that feature. I noticed these knobs are wrong. So this knob has a pointer spot on it. It has a little white dot. But it's on the tuning, where the white dot means nothing. This one is trying to pick which one of these different selections. Broadcast, shortwave, 31 meter, 25 meter, 19 meter, and phono. There's no pointer because it's here. And this one's also got a pointer on it. This is just on, off, and tone. You tend to put the pointer on the volume, I would think. Bass, tone, treble tone. So those are two separate tone controls. Wow. That's cool. Okay. Back to looking in the back here. Hey, it's got all of its tubes. 6 SA7. So, this is an old guy. Looks like 2 output tubes here. This looks like a big rectifier. And you have a bunch of steel, like a metal can type tubes. Magic eye. That's another thing that caught my attention. You have to look hard, but there's a magic eye. You can hardly see it through the front. Can you see it? There's a magic eye in behind here. It's kind of a lousy place to put a magic eye in my opinion, but a lot of radios have this. A magic eye hidden here. Part of it is, I think part of the thinking is, you're staring at this while you're tuning, and if the magic eye is over here, well, you have to move your eyes over here, now you're no longer looking at the pointer. So maybe there is some sense to having to having this magic eye right there. So you're looking right there. Don't fall off. Don't fall off, radio. So, power cord condition is actually very good. Here's a problem here. That's just the outer wrap, if you like itself. So this could be a replacement. It's still old at this point, but this may not be the actual original. It's just done a knot job here, which isn't really the best way to do it. There's a phono input, antenna terminals, A and G underneath it here. So this and this look like pilot holes for something to fit in. So I'm really hoping that he's not, well, so we got a wire hanging out here too. Why have a wire hanging out when you've got this? So sometimes there's an internal antenna in here. I think this is remnants of it right here. Why would it be gone? Why because usually it's stapled up in a place, nobody ever pulls it off. I don't see it. And sometimes there's a what's called a capacitive antenna, a capacitive hat antenna, or capacitive something. Nothing here. Not sure about that. Not sure about this. It's got three sections in the capacitor. The capacitor is a great big honker. It's a big thing, and sort of haven't really reduced the. Hadn't figured out how to make those smaller. Look at the size of this thing. Quite a big honker. And it may have something to do with all the push buttons. Yeah, the push buttons are driving right into this mechanism here. It feels wonderful. It feels like you want to push those buttons. You just want to push them. Now, I see something rather complicated going on back here. Get it on the camera. What's with all this? These are all separate lights. Light, 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 and light. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So it's got to be a light per band. That's what those black bars are in the front here. So the way they try to light these guys is by sending the light right through the pane of glass from the edge. Try to shine the light into the edge of the glass, and then it travels, I guess, within the glass, and wherever it encounters the paint, even though the paint is on the surface of the glass, the paint literally comes to life and glows. And these have, when that's done right, these have a great look to them. But if you stick the light bulb in and you think the purpose of the light is to shine onto it like this, chances are in some radios you would mount the light in the wrong place and no longer drive the light through the pane of glass, and it just turns off what these radios are supposed to look like. So I dwell on this because a lot of these large glass plate radios really require very careful alignment. And I'm going to give away the secret right now because I'm talking about it. So if this is the edge of the glass here, and this is the light bulb, inside the light bulb is a filament. The filament is the thing that's beaming the light out. It's not the glass bulb, it's the filament. You need to line the bright filament up. So in most radios, you can adjust the light like this a little bit, and you line it up until the filament inside the bulb is right lined up with this, and the dial turns on. So really, please do that. I already noticed in this radio, the bulbs, instead of being like this, are pointed right at it. So maybe that's an advantage, because the filament would pretty much automatically line up. Very cool. Can't wait to see all that work. Okay, what other little secrets are in here? Can you find any more secrets? So this guy's up on grommets, and I can see the grommets are cracking here. Oh, still a little bit of softness in them, and it's not wobbling. Sometimes these capacitors are mounted on grommets. The grommets shrink, they even fracture and disappear, and before you know it, this thing is just shaking loose. Fantastic. Okay, it's got a big bottom plate with the walking screws here through it, which are a little loose. Now, check this out. Little envelope holder here, and no money in the envelope. I thought that was going to be my chance. I was going to find $1,000 stuffed in there. No. What about the speaker? I'm going to just bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to pop this camera off here. Okay, great big speaker. All the potential in the world to be sound great. Perfectly good shape. Great big field coil here. Here's the voice coil transformer, output transformer. Some words written here. Beautiful. What about the condition of the cloth in the front of the radio? Well, I think it's fantastic. I think it's a really cool design, and it's in great shape. Beautiful. I'm really excited now, because I think this radio can really be a beauty. While I've got this in my hand, you can see the phono window here, and there's the light socket for it, in case it didn't come through. What's with all the black? I don't know, can you see that? It looks like there's been a fire right above this. There's a rubber cover to try to block any accidental light from back here, from these bulbs or anywhere, from getting through. There's a rubber cover. You probably can't see it in the dark. It feels like there it is. It feels like it's all fracturing. Okay, that's what's probably been cooking. Maybe, I don't know. These look like adjustment screws here. Yeah, they look like capacitors. That's the trimmers. 2 IF cans, some more trimmer stuff here. All available from the back of the radio with the radio in place. So I think you could align this guy with the radio sitting in the cabin. Look at the amount of room in here for my hand and everything. There's lots and lots of space. But for sure we have to take the radio out, because we gotta look at the components in here and see what has happened to it. I noticed a screw missing, so I'm not the first one to take the plate off. Who knows what the history is in these kinds of radios. Okay, that's great. So I'm gonna get the chassis out now and get it up on my bench, and we'll take a look at it. Okay. Wow, that's a little on the heavy side. What a beast. Got a foam material there. Wow, look at that thing. It's a mechanical monster. This is the bottom of the glass clamp. Clamp comes down. these black bars extend. You can see it there, extend out here. Try to help, I guess, with controlling the light. See how this lamp is jammed forward somehow. Got some sleeves on it here. The sleeve is missing here, and the light bulb's missing here. That's kind of curious, isn't it? How does one light bulb get missing? It's strange. What else can we see on the front here? Capacitor here, capacitor here. Maybe another one here, just so covered with dust. You wouldn't even know it's there necessarily. Okay, there's not too much else to see up here, really. A lot of dust, so this will have to be dusted. So I think I'll do that. I think I'll take it, I'll dust it off, and we'll carry on. I'll take the bottom plate off. We'll see what's underneath. Okay, here he is back after a dusting, just with a paintbrush and a vacuum cleaner. Get all the major dust off of it. Now we're going to take off the bottom plate. I see another screw is missing. And we'll find out what somebody was doing under here, if anything. Maybe we'll find out the whole thing's been restored. Wow. Okay. I don't know, would that be a good thing? Somebody else did all that work? I guess so. And a potential customer in the United States, a big old military radio. They spent a lot of time doing all the capacitors in it, changing them all, and now it doesn't work. So that may end up here at my house eventually. So I think that's it. The plate should stay down. The radio should come out. Okay, let me grab it by the power transformer. Yeah, plate should stay down. Is there more holding it in? It's a rivet. It's a rivet. No. What are these holes are for? Look at that. These holes line up with the IF cans. So how much you want to bet on the bottom board, the support board? There's holes. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe just holes through here. That wouldn't be terribly helpful. It'd be better if they go right through the board. I didn't notice any. How come we can't get this plate off? So probably because it's just stuck on there. Just making double sure I got all the screws off. Oh, let's get a honker screwdriver. Oh ha! This will scare the radio apart. Right. There's two screws here. I saw some rivets underneath here. What? Let's look at those rivets again. Yeah, so there's a rivet here, and a rivet here, and the same thing down there. Now that's for these side plates. So these screws have to come out. That's why I couldn't get it apart. Generally, when something's supposed to come apart and you find yourself applying more and more force to it, it's time to think again about what's happening. Because if you apply enough force, you will get what you want. And maybe a little bit more. Okay, can we just lift this right out of the plate? And the answer is no. Get a little wedging spot here. No. There. Yes. Okay, got it loose there. Should come out now. Come on, man. There we go. Oh, what was that? That was... There. What's on the plate? What's on the plate? Was that a little bit of bread being baked there? What is that? Oh, that looks like wax dripping out of something. So it's in between the two IFs. Something under there is dripping. Something under here is dripping. Otherwise, looks great. No burn marks, no nothing. That's great. And now for the big surprise. Jim, what have you gotten yourself into? So we're just going to tip it up with the anchor low. There it is! Yikes! Oh man, the first thing my eye saw is that. What is that? That is a capacitor being eaten by mold and mildew. So, how do you spell humidity? This looks like this has been in a really wet location. How can that be? The rest of the radio looks fine. How can it be? So let's just take a distant look here at a few things. So what I see right away is a cord done with black electrical tape. So I don't think this is original. I don't think the black electrical tape was original. See a capacitor popped off the side here? Oh man, here's the wax dripping, drooping, dropping thing coming out of this capacitor here. These, they all look like this has been worked on by a long time ago, I think is the name of the game there. This capacitor is here. Is it even soldered? It looks like it is soldered. It's out floating? That's not normal. Why isn't this going down to a terminal? These look resoldered. This molded capacitor here is it original? So it seems to have, yeah, I don't know, is that the only one of that type? Here's another oddball here, National Capacitor Company. I mean, normally a manufacturer is going to be stocking a brand of capacitor, and that's what you're going to see over and over and over. You're not going to see, you know, a sealed tight here, and then a national capacitor there, and some kind of scary, I don't know what that is, scary. So your standard wax looking capacitor here, it's all scraped up and scratched up. Somebody's been gnawing at it. A lot of coils right in this area with fragile wires on them. So in a really moist environment, corrosion of stuff like this, the terminations of those wires and that, it can become a problem. There's some more coils here. There's a capacitor tucked there. That just, I don't know, is that original? It probably is. 1.5. 8 plus. It says plus or minus 1.5. Huh? So we go back down around the power supply area. Let me just spot where the filter capacitor is mounted on this radio. is it? There isn't one. Huh? I don't see any big capacitor up there. What? Here, you take a look too. Oh yeah, there he is. Okay, there he is. I see him now. It's a low rider. That guy there. So he's kind of got little four banger in the middle. Four banger, he's in the middle. Okay, I got my eye right now. I can recognize it anyway. It's no big deal. Right here. Is that original? It's really hard to say for sure. I believe it is. I think that's original. Lots of shielded wires here using this spring type shielding. The shields are soldered to the chassis. See, like this looks like it's a reworked. They all look like they're reworked. Yeah, you can see the actual connection made right here. So I think someone's been in and replaced a lot of capacitors, but wow, they look old now. What's happening with this resistor here? Well, it's a high wattage resistor, and the paint is coming off it here. The red paint. Careful. I'll take the coat off it if I'm not careful. Of course, we're going to get I'm sure we're going to find a schematic for this guy. It's got lots and lots of capacitors. Look at these ones. Made in the USA. Hard to say whether or not for sure somebody worked on it. Excuse me. I'm going to guess the originals look like this. There's one here. This one's probably original. There's another one of those that looks original. Another high wattage resistor right here. So wow. Okay. Now, usually, what I like to do with radios is start them up. As soon as I think it's possible to start them up safely, and I have techniques for helping out with that, and see if it's going to operate at all. Now, this is floating out here too. This must be tone. Isn't this volume? It's not wired as a potentiometer, it's just wired as a variable resistor here. The last plug isn't used. No, you know what? That's the tone, because here's the on-off switch, if I remember right. The on-off switch. Isn't this volume? Let me look. Hey, get everything all mixed around here? Oh, okay. The volume's up here. Tone. This is tone and on-off. That explains why it's not used as a potentiometer. Floating connection. Again, it's not how they do things. So, has this been replaced? These two guys been replaced. Look at them. They look suspiciously shiny. But I bet you they are original. This one looks fairly similar to it too. So I think they're all original. So how this got to be like this, I don't know. But it's suspicious. It's very, very suspicious. You know, another risk here in working on a radio that someone else has worked on is they mucked it up. You know, once in a while I get things a little messed up. And I usually persist until they're unmessed. In fact, I always persist until they're unmessed. But someone else could give up the ghost. They could make mistakes, do all that work, turn it on, doesn't work, fiddle with it, put it in the back, I'll do it later, it never gets done. And then it comes to me, the mistake is still in there. So, starting this guy up, why would we not make an attempt at that? Just looking to make sure these wires get really stiff down here, and if anybody's monkeyed with them, they can crack, insulation crack, you get a short, especially right into the transformer. Looks okay. Any reason why we would be scared to plug this in? Not really. Okay, I'm going to take a vote. It's just you and me. Let's vote. Should we plug this radio in just as it is, even with this disconnected and stuff? Okay, that's 2 votes. Go ahead. That's 2 votes. Let's go ahead here. It's not 2 votes because you're the 40th person to watch this video, so your vote is actually vote number 32. A few people did not want this to be plugged in and turned on. Why not? So the way I can do this safely, this is video number 1, so this may be the first of my videos you're watching. So I use a dim bulb system, these light bulbs. This guy's unscrewed. This is the one that's in. Just going to check its wattage. A 60 watt bulb. That's a fair restriction on a big radio like this. So we're going to start with that. Hey, incandescent lights. It's still good for something. This one's unscrewed. So the idea is I'm going to pass the power to the radio through this light bulb. I'm going to do it with this little panel here. This arms my shop power, and this switches either down for the light or up for the outlet, straight to the outlet. But it's never straight to the outlet because this is where I'm going to plug the radio in. I can do it right now. No polarization, no need for it really. This has a big transformer in the radio. So when I hit the switch here, power goes through the light bulb to here. It's coming from this transformer. And even though this transformer has 3-prong plugs, there is no hydro ground attached to this at all. There's no hydro ground involved in this. I have isolated the power supply from the Ontario Power Distribution System, Power Transmission and Distribution System, which reduces the shock hazard for me. And also the lights will restrict, if there's a short circuit in here, maybe the transformer is totally shot. Maybe this is the end of the whole game right away. The lights will come on super bright. The light, I better keep this over here so you can see the excitement of it all. Now I got to learn the controls. So this is the on-off. It's off. This is the volume. Turned down. This is bass. This is treble. Who cares? This is the band switch. I'm gonna put a knob back on the band switch. And the band we want to start with would be the AM broadcast band, which is all the way that way. And then these buttons come into play in the broadcast band. Sometimes there's a setting, a setting to enable the buttons. Other times, who knows how it's done. There's no button setting on this control, so we'll leave it at AM. Take that back in there. Broadcast band is the middle one here. Maybe this light will come on. Okay, once more just for safety. Off. Volume down, turn it up a little bit. Going through a 60 watt light bulb. We'll just switch off, we will apply power. Here we go. It's proving the on-off switch is working. The total voltage coming to my house today is 122.3 beautiful volts, but that's coming out of this transformer. So what's going into it, we don't know exactly, but probably a little less in fact. Probably 117 or something like that. Now, any reason to hesitate turning this guy on at this point? Yeah, standing back is a good idea. So I'm going to cut the power, turn it on, tone control, so I'll just stick it in the middle. So I'm going to turn the power on the switch up here. What are we going to see? We might see this light come on. We might see this light come on stupidly bright. Now what's this light going to do? It's going to come on. The first thing that happens with these radios is a rush of current goes into the cold heaters in the tube. A big rush of current is going to cause this light to come on bright. It's going to come on bright. Quickly the heaters will heat up and the current will drop. The light will dull down. Once the rectifier in here is operating and B plus is being cast throughout the radio, more conduction will take place in the tubes, more power will be drawn by the radio, and the light will start coming up again, but it won't be terribly bright. So it could be very bright at first, make you think there's a short when there really isn't. Are we ready? Now, can anything really terrible happen? No, I don't think so. Let's find out. The light is on. So with this much restriction, there's only 60 volts available to the radio right now. I can see it on the meter here. Take a long time for those heaters to come up. So take a long time for this to dull down. And take a long time for B plus to develop. Let's give it that time. 72 volts. So as the voltage on my guy here goes up, this is 72.9 right now. As it goes up, that means the current draw from the radio is going down. It's really not changing much at all though. 72 volts. That's awfully low to operate a radio like this. Let's see what happens here. You know what? Hold it. Shut her down. Shut her down. Big mistake. No speaker. So that's a good first test. With the speaker removed, the radio cannot supply B plus into the rest of the power supply cannot supply B plus to the rest of the radio. So in a sense, what I've done is I've managed to test a very, very small part of the radio power supply. And it's passed the test. Nothing bad happened. But I got to get the speaker in here. Whoops, I forgot about that. I was thinking about it earlier. Okay, so that I have to use that speaker. That speaker is designed for this radio. They got to go together. So I'm going to get that speaker out of there. We'll get it up on my bench somehow. We'll try this again. Now, it's a bit of a jackpot getting this out. Jackpot is where a situation develops you weren't anticipating, and when you're in it, you regret it. So this piece showed up. And I got the screws out and I'm holding onto the speaker, and I realized they've got a support screwed on it to hold the speaker. Anyway, let's just say, what is this? This came out from in here somewhere. What's that all about? Just get a little taller here. Speaker's dusty and all, but it's in really perfect shape. Perfect shape. Hole right there. I don't know what that would be from. There's a scratch mark here too. So is there something maybe protruding? It's a little damaged right here too. So the deal with these is damage this and the radio's really depreciated a lot. So when you get these speakers out like this, scary business having it. Now this I'm sure was across here, like this. What are they trying to do with this thing? I've never seen anything like this. I'm not going to be putting it back in. It's a little warped, and there's a contact point right here, and that's going to be a buzzer. It's going to buzz, bzz, 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 on bass and stuff. So I can only guess this is some kind of deflector. I don't know. Mysterious thing. But now we're ready to plug this in. Let's look at the cord here. So the cord's nice and flexible still. Totally undamaged. Great. A lot of these are really wrecked right in here. Not this one. Just gotta get this positioned where I can plug it in and have it in here. Safe zone. I want to break the seal here a little bit. Just going to sound a little bit better that way. Quite a bit better, actually. Okay, we're ready again for another run at the radio here. And, oh no, we got to plug it in. Plug it in. You can't just show it. You got to actually plug it in. Okay, it's in. Okay. How many okays? Is that enough okay? Okay, on the okay. I think we're ready. Back to what I was doing. Switch is off. We can start with it on. Restriction 1 bulb. So the bulb got bright. It dulled down a little bit, but never came up again because there was never any tube conduction, because the speaker was unplugged and the power supply is got a big gap in it with it like that. So here we go, this time for real. Now on camera it's really hard to look at light bulbs like this. This light bulb looks totally different to me with my eye. Voltage is 69 volts, coming up 70, 73, 70.3 is what it is. 71. What we're looking for is any sound coming out of that speaker. Hum, hiss, anything, something. We're at 70 volts. That's not very much power. This light is not full on though, so there's no short in here. This light's on too, which indicates power is getting to the radio appropriately. I can see some tubes lighting up. The rectifier, it's lighting up. We hear nothing. Okay, so we're at 69 volts. That's just not enough. I have too much restriction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw in this next light, and that might very well bring the radio into light. You'll see this get brighter. And you should see this one get duller. Here we go. So now we're up to 191, 90 volts, 91 volts. Most radios will operate with this kind of voltage. But it may take a long time. I don't hear a darn thing. Okay, so I'm going to work the band switch to try to send some crackles through the radio. Out the speaker. Cool, band lights. Hey, this is the radio for me, because I get confused all the time what band I'm listening to. Not a sound. So I'm going to stick my ear right up to that speaker. And a bit of a dangerous operation in case the radio comes to life. I've had it happen. I've had the speaker right up against my ear, and then it probably happened to you too if you've watched a lot of my videos. You've had your headphones on or something and got quite a blast. 94 volts. That's got to be enough to make this make sound. Nothing. Okay, sticking my ear up there. Well, I'll be. There's sound coming out of there. Not controlled by the volume, but it's kind of a crackly hiss. There, you can hear it a little better now. Can you hear it? It's hard to, it's masked by other sounds in my shop. I have fans in my computer that are making a bit of a hiss. I guarantee you this is making some kind of sound. So what about the band switch then? So I don't hear that at all. Okay, well, what are the chances that I've got one of these buttons engaged in some way and don't realize it? Sometimes the first button is the... no, these are all tuning buttons. When you push them, the pointer should travel. So I think these have all been set to nothing. I think that's what's happened here. They're all set to nothing. Oh, a little more noise. Okay, so next possibility is, since I think I've turned all the controls here. Volume down. Is there's a tube that is not making contact in its socket. That's another possibility. Let's slide this way. And we'll now perform the tube wiggle. It's a legitimate troubleshooting technique. So the two output tubes are glowing. And I'm not going to touch them directly. This is just a little bit damp. So we're listening. There's something there. Not much from that. Now there's two smaller tubes here. One of them is the tube that's, I'm assuming these are in push-pull, so one of these is going to be the inverter, and this one here is probably the inverter. Not hearing much. I'm hoping to hear crackling and stuff. And I'm way up at the front end now, so I really should be hearing all the way along. Rectifier tube could be out of contact too. That's an unusual looking tube. That looks really kind of modern. Okay, volume down. I'm going to wiggle that one. Didn't sound very good. Sounds like a... something doesn't sound too good there. But we're not getting any reaction out of the radio. And if I touch the antenna, let me put this up full. Yeah, there's no antenna. Jim, no antenna. That's the antenna. Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Now, still... oh, I wasn't on the broadcast band. On the broadcast band... she's dead. She's dead, Jim. So now we're running with, oh my gosh, 118 volts. How did we get all the way there? So, you know, I do have two fair-sized light bulbs in. You can see there's no light glowing from the bulbs anymore. This radio is not drawing much current at all. So I think the suggestion here would be no B+ in the radio. The reasons could be a fault in the radio, some kind of open circuit thing, or a rectifier tube not doing its job. To find out if there's B+ in the radio, I have to tip the radio up. But I think that's really the next step. I mean, I can poke around in here, but I don't like that idea too much. And good. Okay, so I'm going to tip this radio up. Kill the power during that process. So it's resting right on these guys. Let's see if I can fix that situation. This might be a little big. Get this up under the transformer here. That's good. There. Okay, so we're not stressing the bulbs. The bulbs. So B plus. We'll use this meter here. B plus on a radio like this can be very high. 300, 350 volts can be very high. I've already seen lots of stuff is soldered to the chassis, and in a big transformer type radio, the chassis is almost always the place you want to go. I'm hard seeing my meter there. I'm going to count this. Okay, it's just amazing. Like, it looks like my shop is brightly lit, but it's not. It's quite dull right now. It's amazing what the cameras do. It's more amazing what our eyes do, actually. In so many ways. B plus is easiest picked up right off the filter capacitor here, especially if you see red wires. That's almost guaranteed to be of the spot. We're going to go look in there. Okay, power back on with the dim bulbs. And the dim bulbs did not come on at all. And we got 100. What happened? Got 118 here. Small drop in the dim bulbs. That front glass on this radio is actually curved ever so slightly. Okay, ready on the meter. Can we see it? You can kind of see it. See it a little better like that. I'm going to move the whole radio now. Oops, let me just look. Since it's operating. Two hands going here. There, you can see the meter a little bit better. Voila. So, 500 volt scale, so 250 is straight up on this meter. And I need a little more light on the radio here. Okay. What are you going to show me? Is 0 and the other ones. 0. How do I know this is working? So this is a bad sign. This is a bad sign. Look at where the power is heading for the speaker, for the field coil in the speaker. We'll see if we can find any voltage on this plug. Nobody home. Nobody home. Just a little dark here for me. This would show if there's DC ready to go and it's just not getting through the field coil. But I don't see anything. So now we're really down on the rectifier at this point. And we really want to look for output of this guy. So we know the primary is energized because the light bulbs are on this radio. So the question is there any high voltage AC coming out of it? There's going to be 5 volt to feed the heater, and then there's going to be the 2 high voltage lines, which are right here and here. I'm going to switch my meter to AC. I think I know what I'm doing. And you know, I got this on the chassis. Maybe this won't work, but I'll give it a try for what it's worth. So there's my meter. That's reading just about 250, and then down here 250. So 250 volts making it, or 500 volts. It depends how you look at it. Rectifier tube is defective. That's our next play on this radio. Power off. Ground off. Now I haven't seen a chart of, whoops, a tube chart. Is even the right tube? I mean, I have to start on the assumption that even that could be wrong. 5Y4, well, it sounds like the right tube. It's a nice looking tube. What's wrong with this one? Okay, so without the schematic or anything, we'll just go on the assumption that the tube is correct. Now we are going to go into the tube tester here. Oops, we're going to find out what the state is with this tube. 5Y4. It's not the right tube. If this proves to be dead, I will review. I can't see. I can't see. Five Y4. There it is. Okay. 5Y4. So voltage is 5. Signal is not needed. Bias is not used. 07030. 07030. P060. P060. Okay, double checking. 07030. 7030. P060. Correct. 25. 25 and an E. So there's a code letter here, F. F means we should see a short circuit when this switch, when the short test is done and it gets over to position 1. We should see it come up here. And we have 2 plates, P1, P2, P1, P2. Pushing this button, let's get the tube. In you go. I saw this tube heat up. Let's see it now. I don't think it's heating. It's got 2 separate heaters, like 2 separate sections. Well, let's carry on. No short took place. What's going on here? 5Y4. Hold it. Okay, that's why I mixed up the tubes here. Son of a gun. 5Y4. Let's just try this again. Yeah, I ended up dialing in a 5Y3. Shame on me. 5Y4. Right back to square one. 5Y4. Shame on me. 0. See, I even double checked to make sure I had the wrong number. Double checking. I didn't double check down here. 0760760 25 E. Oh, that's a good thing. Okay. Still got F, so we should find a short in this position. And here we go again. That's probably why it didn't heat up. Yeah, now it's heating up fine. Should have been the sign right there when it didn't heat up. I should have known I'd done something wrong. Hey, live and learn. Live and learn the same lessons over and over and over again. Short. There it goes. See the meter go flying over. It's a little hard to see in the camera, but yes, it did. Okay, we're on the test. Rectifiers and diodes. Rectifier, okay, it must get up to this point or beyond to be a rectifier, okay. Rectifier, okay. Plate number 2. Well, son of a gun. That's really not what I was hoping for, because if it was dead, That would explain a lot. It's not dead. It's not dead, Jim. Okay, so I think we'll probably end our little investigation for today at this point. And because I need to get the schematic, study it up, all that kind of stuff, because obviously there's a little more troubleshooting that has to happen here. And I think I've probably gone far enough for today. $20. What a great radio. It's going to be a great radio. Thanks a lot for watching, and hope you carry on watching the series here as I bring this guy back to life.